Ramirez, your host of Stand Out and Grow. I want to help your business stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. Building your business is really, really hard. And knowing what marketing and advertising tools you need to help you become successful is extremely confusing. After 30 years of working with thousands of businesses, I am here to help you make good business decisions. I want to help you understand the programs that are available to you so that you can stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. So let's get started.
Hey there, this is Kat Ramirez, CEO and founder of adBidtise and #SocialBuzz. Woo! I am live today, and I have my very special guest who I'm going to bring on. But let me tee her up an intro. As you can see from the notes, I talked a little bit about what she currently is doing, a lot of amazing things. Her title, though, says it all because she is an international speaker, a writer, a contributor for Forbes. What else? Publishing. What else? I mean, she does a lot. So she is a woman with lots of talents. And I was fortunate enough to meet Bridget McGowan. And I'm so thrilled to death to have her join me. And let me bring her on. Hey, Bridget.
Kat, how are you?
I am doing great. I am doing absolutely wonderful. And I'm so glad to have you on my show.
Thanks for the opportunity. This is going to be good. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we get started, I kind of gave a little brush about you, but I think your story is better told by you because you, if someone goes to your website, they're going to read about your legacy and what you have going on. And you've done a lot of amazing things. I think you have a great story to tell. So you give your own intro. Give us a little background about you.
Ooh, how much time do we have? How long is this show, Kat?
Love it.
I'll tell you right now, it all started in elementary school. I received talks too much on all of my report cards. I just couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I parlayed that into a profession. I decided, let's do something with that. Seriously speaking has been something that's just always come easily to me. I was the kid in school who was the first one to put up her hand when the teacher called on a volunteer reader. I was the church school secretary. I couldn't wait. It was a really small country church, but I couldn't wait to get up in front of my audience of about 12 and deliver my all-important report of what was the lesson and the scripture of the day and how much money we collected. I mean, seriously, I would sit and silently prepare on that front pew and smooth out my dress and make sure everything was just so. My career started with teaching, though. I started teaching for the Texas A&M University system as well as the Lone Star College system. And Kat, I didn't know the first thing about teaching, okay?
Right.
I was attending every workshop, every conference, every symposia, everything I could find to figure out how do you teach? And as I was attending these sessions and these conferences, I'm watching these presenters at the front of the room thinking, I can do that. So I started submitting proposals to these conferences and doing my own research and figuring out, how do you teach the 21st century college student? How do you reach them? How do you get an 18-year-old excited about a thesis statement at 8 a.m. on a Monday?
Right.
That was my life.
Okay.
So I started doing a lot of faculty development workshops for my colleagues, and that turned into me working for an ed tech company, traveling the country. I got laid off. I loved speaking. I launched my professional speaking business. The rest is history.
Okay. Well, and I do know that because how we happen to meet is you do help entrepreneurs with publishing. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've been a professional speaker since 2001, and it wasn't until last year, 2019, that I finally published a book. But it was because I had submitted a proposal to speak at a conference, surprise, surprise, and there was a little notation that indicated, hey, do you have a book you want to sell in our bookstore? There were going to be 16,000 people at this conference. I said, do I have a book to sell in the bookstore? No, I don't right now, but I will by the time the conference comes around. And I learned how to, of course, write the book. That was, some will say that's the easy part, but maybe others won't. I say that's the easy part. The hard part was figuring out everything that goes with it. And, contacting the Library of Congress, getting your copyright from the U.S. Copyright Office, getting your ISBN, just on down the line. I did it, and I did it again 6 months later with another book, and again a few months later with a collaboration, and again. And I found out that I like this thing called publishing. I know how to do it right, and I know how to do it fast.
Right.
Yes. And the most important part, Kat, was I didn't know this. I know it, but I didn't want to. You know how we are. You know something, but you don't want to know it. You don't want to acknowledge that it's a real thing and that it's important. I realized the importance of having a book, with the importance of it solidifying you as a contender in your industry, and how it can advance your brand, how it can support your message, how it serves as an elevated business card. Imagine being able to leave a book with someone in addition to your business card.
Oh, yeah.
Making yourself memorable. So
right. Right. So I think this is a really great topic to talk about because it parlays and aligns with the guest speaking because, again, it builds credibility. At the end of the day, a lot of people are looking for speakers and they really look for what is the credibility element when they look at the guest speaker or public speaker, right?
Right.
A lot of that is that. And when they write something, what is it that they're contributing? So you said the writing part is the easy. I mean, I would think the writing part is the hardest part because like when you work with someone, how do you get them to focus or think about, what it is they want to write about?
Right. And you saw how I kind of tried to add a caveat in there when I said that's the easy part. Because I know people listening are like, yeah, Bridget, whatever, girlfriend, please. For some, it's the easy part. But how my team helps authors focus is we have a couple of different avenues. One, a lot of times authors will come to us with their manuscripts already hammered out, but we'll have others where they need a coach. And so we provide someone who is just that. They're not there to criticize your ideas. They're not there to give you a hard time. It's a coach. They are right there on your side and asking you very specific questions that lead to you developing this fantastic manuscript. Okay. And so along with along with the writing coach, which we have ghostwriters too, but the writing coach, along with the developmental editor, we just support you as a team and bring your ideas to life. Because we know for some people, it can be a little bit of not a challenge, but it's more on the plate. You already have enough going on and you have all of this in your head. And how do you get it out in a coherent fashion? We work with you and make that happen.
Yeah, I can. Okay, because I am an entrepreneur, so I can see where that could be very tasking or for someone like overwhelming, because, I have clients that I work with that I help. I kind of feel like I help manage their priorities or their times or whatever. And some of them are like all over the place. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to have a service where, you're either going to do it full service for them, right? Like you're going to rope them in and do it full turnkey, or they're a hands-on kind of people and they like to do it all themselves anyways. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have the different variations that you work with.
Yes, as any entrepreneur, any business owner will tell you, you have those clients that run the gamut. They span the entire spectrum. I have one client. I love him. Kat, we never had a conversation. We never got on Zoom. We never got on the phone. Everything was handled via email. He's making the payments, sending the edits, making the changes. ordering this. I mean, seriously. And his book was done in record time, like in less than a month.
Wow.
He signed on with us like the 13th of May. His book was published June 8th. Wow. And he's just, yeah, I want this. No, I don't want that. Change that font, move it. Great. And then I have others where they're like, well, no, let me think about this. I want to put this out for a vote to my Facebook community of writers and so on and so forth. Oh, well, let's try this. And so we have all kinds of clients where some know exactly what they want and how they want it, and others, they can have ideas that are in a lot of different directions. And we do have to kind of say, okay, that's fantastic, but based on our team's expertise, this is what's going to look good. This is what your audience is going to love. So you know how it goes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love it. And I love that you can give the depth of full service, because the other thing I would think that you would run into are the people who do drag their feet, where you're like prying and saying, hey, I need this. I need this. I really need this. And I need it.
It happens, but we start with asking you, what's your preferred publication date? And if you tell me you want to publish on XYZ date, then I give you a timeline as to what needs to happen by when. And if that's not happening, then I say, well, we might want to reconsider the publication date. So we remain flexible and fluid. We let the client drive it. If you want to publish on December 1, okay, by, August 1, we need this, and August 15th, that, and so on and so forth. And if it's not happening, then we just say, hey, we've got 365 days to work with. What you want to do?
Right. Have there been any fun projects that you worked on?
Oh, let me think. You know what? A fun one. Gosh, I love all of them. Let me think. What has been the most fun? Oh, yes, the most fun. I don't know why I had to stop and think about this one, Kat. Was a couple of collaborations that I've done. And I'm trying to decide I've done 3 collaborations. Well, I'll say the most fun have been the collaborations. Out of those 3 collaborations, it's hard to say what was the most fun. So I'll just talk about collaborations in general and what makes them so fun. One, you are able to become an author just by writing one chapter. And that one chapter is all about you. So in one collaboration that I did, and let me allow me a moment to grab a couple. Yeah, in one collaboration, I shouldn't have done a glossy cover. So here's the cover. It's called On the Microphone, How 50 of the World's Best Professional Speakers Launch Their Careers, and How You Can Too. So with it, they talk about how did they decide to launch their speaking career? What do they speak on? What drives them? And what's their one piece of advice for someone who wants to become a professional speaker? And then it has their bio, it has their picture. And how easy is that? So my company, BMAC Talks Press, loves being able to position people to become authors just by writing one chapter. So that's kind of an easy way to become an author with us. Right. And that was a fun project for so many reasons. Like I said, I was able to position 50 people to become new authors just like that. Number 2, I was able to put together a resource for aspiring professional speakers, because this is the deal, Kat. I have people who will ask me all the time, how did you get into the business? How can I get my start? So on and so forth. And I started looking for a resource to give them, and I couldn't find one. So you know what we do, Kat, as entrepreneurs. If something doesn't exist, we create it.
Right.
That's how On the Microphone came about. And then here's the newest one, Redesign Your 9 to 5.
Okay.
And this one is advice and strategies from 50 of the world's most ambitious business owners and entrepreneurs. And in the midst of COVID-19, where people are getting laid off, their career futures are so uncertain, and just their lives are so uncertain. I was talking to a girlfriend this morning about, are your kids going to school in person or online next month? It's just so much uncertainty. But what I like about Redesign Your 9 to 5, you get advice from 50 people who redesigned what their Monday through Friday looks like, and how you can start it as a side hustle. You can start it as a part-time gig along with your full-time gig, and then eventually parlay it into your full-time passion. both of them, and then there's a third one. They're so hard to choose from, but those are the most fun projects, is when I get to work with a ton of authors at once. And all of a sudden I have 100 authors right here.
Right. No, I think that's exciting. I think that's a great way to like immerse yourself into being part of being a writer. That's awesome. That is great. And I bet the stories are awesome.
They're incredible. It's stories of people like me who got laid off, other people where they were working fabulous jobs with incredible salaries, and it just wasn't fueling their fire. It just runs the gamut. Some did it out of necessity. Some saw a problem that needed to be addressed, and they felt that they were the ones to address it. Others had been doing it just for fun, had been maybe event planning or something like that. And somebody said, hey, you need to start charging for this. It just spans the spectrum as to how people got their starts.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to ask this question because I'm curious now. Yeah. So because what you talked about was a lot to go into writing and publishing a book. And so I'm just curious, so what's the difference between trying to self-publish on like Amazon or whatever? I'm not familiar with, the options, but I'm sure that you could self-publish, and then working with someone like you where you just talked a lot of dialogue that I don't even know. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know what she's talking about.
You're hilarious. A lot. You're hilarious. That's why I love you. Okay. Oh, that is a fantastic question. Now, the advantage to self-publishing is, yes, you have bragging rights and ownership to every single thing. You are able to say, I did this. The advantage to working with someone like me, an independent publishing company, and I want to take a moment and distinguish between an independent publishing company and a traditional publishing company. So an independent publishing company is going to be one where you pay for all of the services. You pay to get published, essentially. But we do everything that you would do if you were self-publishing. We get your ISBN, your International Standard Book Number, which you must have in order to sell your book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. We make sure you get your book copyrighted. So we submit your application to the United States Copyright Office to make sure that your intellectual property is protected. We design a beautiful cover for you. We edit your manuscript. We format it so that it's gorgeous. We put your book on Amazon.com for sale. We put it on BarnesandNoble.com for sale. We put it on Target.com and Walmart.com. So we take care of everything that you would do on your own to take your book from a manuscript to a beautifully published book. We take care of all of that for you. Now, with a traditional publishing company, you don't have to pay, but you have to shop around and sell yourself. It can take you years to get published once you do find a traditional publishing company that will publish you. Oftentimes, traditional publishing companies, the ones that do not charge you for publishing, oftentimes they work only with people who have fame and notoriety and celebrity status because they're not charging you, but they know this book will sell because you have millions or billions of followers. You have that celebrity behind you. So it can be really tough to get published by a traditional publishing company. The idea of the fame and notoriety that comes with having this big publishing company name behind your title is alluring. It's fantastic. Who doesn't want it? Right. But at the same time, it can be really, really tough. And again, if you are accepted, if your manuscript is accepted by them, it can take, I'm not kidding you, years to get published. With an independent publishing company, it moves a lot faster. We're one of the faster ones in the business. I told you the story of the one author. He signed on May 13th. By June 8th, he was published. So.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so we do have a question for you. Yeah. So Phil, thanks for watching. Phil's on LinkedIn. Phil says, hey there. Sorry, I need my reading glasses. Do you have any experience or could you help with a children's book? And so he's asking for a friend I love her.
Oh, as much as I wish we worked with children's books, because as you can see in the background, I've got a little one myself. We do not work with children's authors or children's book authors at the moment. We mostly work with nonfiction and write for young adult audiences or adult audiences. Yeah.
Okay, so independent publishing companies usually have niches then. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oftentimes they do. Oftentimes they do, because when you work with children's books, then you really have to have quite a bit of emphasis on, one, understanding that market, but two, having a wonderful team of illustrators who have all kinds of expertise and all kinds of breadth and depth of talent. And right now we do have graphic designers that are fantastic and typologists that are fantastic, but we have not ventured into that area of children's books, because that you've got to have a gorgeous, colorful book when it comes to that genre.
Absolutely. And I have a friend that I'm linked into that she wrote a couple of children's books. So maybe I can refer you to her. I don't know who uses,
Right. And likewise, Phil, if you'll connect with me at B McGowan on LinkedIn, or just go to connectwithb.com and you can connect everywhere with me, connectwithb.com. I also have a connection in my community who is a children's book author. He's totally awesome. And I'm happy to connect the two of you to have a conversation, see how he got his work done.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great question. So, well, wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about some of your public speaking, because when I went on your website to really kind of look for things to talk about, you got a lot of speaking topics, and and just looking through them, like I was intrigued. So I'm sure a lot of other people are intrigued. Can you talk a little bit about the speaking that you do? And you've got a lot of, snippets and videos and things. And it would be nice to let some people here know, what you're doing with that.
Absolutely. So most of my speaking topics tend to center around effective communication, either presentation skills, effective communication, leadership, women's empowerment, usually in those areas. And then I also do some work in marketing and sales, because if you're in marketing, if you're in sales, you have to have great presentation skills. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I did not also focus on some topics in the area of post-secondary teaching, or teaching on the college and university level, because I did that from 2002 until 2018. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize I did it for that long. So for about 16 years, I was also an educator. I forgot to mention that I also taught for University of Phoenix Online. So 3 very different institutions. But back to those topics, I focus in a number of different areas, because when I was doing that faculty development for that ed tech company, it required that I become relatively versed in a number of different areas. You just became this master presenter.
Right.
And yeah. And I know one of the topics that caught your attention, Kat, was the one entitled Selling to the C-Suite, Open with Power and Close the Deal.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one. I believe I presented a version of that at Inbound 2018, I think. Inbound is this ginormous conference in Boston. Yeah, every year.
Yeah.
Yes, every year, that Tuesday after Labor Day, where everybody's going, Tuesday through Friday after Labor Day. Well, up until 2020, that's where everybody was going.
Right.
We were doing it virtually. So anyway, I presented a version of it there, and it was so well received. And so I tweaked it to focus on the C-suite, because I run into people oftentimes who will ask, as a salesperson, or even as, let's say, as an administrative assistant who works with C-suite individuals, they feel like their voices are not heard. Mm-hmm. They feel like they don't know how to, I don't want to say talk to them, but it just feels like they're not reaching them. Their messages are not resonating with them. So in that particular presentation, I give you secrets to make how to make standout stellar presentations, and I give you a formula that will get your C-suite audiences instantly leaning in and listening to you. And one of the biggest keys, Kat, is being succinct. And see, I have to work on that before I get in front of a C-suite audience. If you couldn't tell, the number one key is being succinct. Yeah. Sometimes people feel like they're being brash or abrasive, or when they just kind of cut you off, and it's not. They've got 200 million things running through their head, and they're not being rude. They just need you to cut to the chase. Give them the nuts and bolts. Give them what's the cost, what's the due date, what's the ROI, what do you need from me? I mean, really. Now, right? We're not sitting here. It's not cocktail hour. It's not a social lunch, and so that's just what they need. So the number one communication tool for working with C-suite is just cut to the chase, give them what they need to know, no more. No,
I love it. I love it. I love it. I just talked about this yesterday. I loved it. Not exactly what you're talking about, but I talk more or less about listening, not talking all the time. You know what I mean? Like, people talk more than they should. And I personally think it's because they want to hear themselves. Like, really?
Well, another challenge that we have as humans, and this is because we're social beings, oftentimes we listen to respond because we want to talk. We listen to respond as opposed to listening to understand.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great comment. I'm going to put that my new motivational quote.
Yes. Listen. We listen to respond. Instead, we should listen to understand, just so the other person just wants to be heard. Listen, and I have a couple of girlfriends. I have one in particular. She cracks me up. I remember telling her, I was explaining something to her, and then she kept reverting to something else. I said, "You're not listening to me."
Right.
Do you hear me? Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah. And that's a great topic. And I think because you have so many, I was looking at them. You have a couple on communication, which at the end of the day, that's what that is communication is about understanding the dynamics of listening and speaking and talking and understanding what someone's saying, and body language. I always talk about body language because people don't talk enough about body language. Body language to me speaks volumes. And I'm the worst. I am the worst at it. And my flaw is just as a quick segue there, Bridget, my flaw is we are on this Zoom world now. Yeah. And it's not like I'm on this is my mouse, but it's not like I'm on my phone, And so if someone's talking and I don't agree with them, and sometimes it's my team members, I'm like, and I'm oh shit, I'm on camera.
Yes, I'm sure in the age of COVID, that's happened to all of us. I had to stop an eye roll one time.
Yes.
Because my facial expressions, as you have experienced, can be all over the place. And you can pretty much tell what I'm thinking. I've never been able to hide them. But they tell so much. So even if we turn this around and think about when we're talking to someone and they're not verbally telling you everything that's going on, right. You can look at those eyes. You can look at that. You can look at the shoulders. You can look at the arms. You can look at the hands. And you can tell that there's something else going on. You may not be able to exactly put your finger on it, but you can. And I love talking about body language. Let me tell you another secret that I have. I love this, Kat. If you ever need a confidence boost, you've got to do this. This is my favorite thing to do to make it seem like I'm 10 feet tall.
Okay.
Get a song in your head. And if you don't have one already, I'll give you one. Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. Get a song in your head that makes you feel like you are on top of the world and you walk to the beat of that song.
Love it. I love this.
I'm telling you, at the grocery store, at the post office, at the bank, in the parking lot with your mask on, socially distancing.
Right.
You have whatever song in your head that just takes your spirits, that takes your confidence to a level 2000.
Yeah.
And walk with that song in your head. And you just instantly look and feel confident. It doesn't matter what you have on. You can have on a $10,000 suit or a t-shirt and jeans, but you look like $1,000,000 when you do that.
Oh, I love it. That's great advice. I love it. And you can do that like now, right now, because, nobody's going to think you're crazy because all these people doing the TikTok in the grocery store and all that, nobody's going to think anything,
Right. And the song is just in your head. You're not singing it. You're not humming it. It's just in your head. And you're singing it and you're just saying, yeah, I am bad as
That is awesome. Oh my God, I would love to see you speak. Hey, I need to connect you with Monica with the Arizona Chamber of Commerce, Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I think you would be a great speaker for them. If Monica is watching, Monica, you need to connect with Bridget. They do a huge event every year. This year, the coming year, I don't know if it's going to be virtual, whatever. It's called The Power of the Purse, but I think you would be a great speaker there. So I will connect you and remind me, Bridget, okay? Because I think you just have this dynamic personality, and hopefully other people can feel and sense that. So what is it that? How can we help you? What is your ask for the community? Like, what do you need help with? What are you looking for? Or who should be looking for you,
That is an outstanding question. And you can help me by helping me help others. And this is how. If you know there are experts out there, people who are rock stars in their industries, and they need to further solidify themselves as rock stars, as firecrackers in their industries, send them my way. I want them to get published. I'm telling you, I can't even put it into words. And I'm supposed to be a professional speaker. I can't put it into words. But I want to publish as many people as possible because I firmly believe everybody has a genius.
Yeah.
Everyone has a genius. And this is establishing a legacy. This is creating that elevated business card. This is furthering your brand, whether you're a business owner or even if you are an employee for a company. If you are an accountant for ABC firm, if you are a talent scout, if you are a sales rep, whatever, if you're a marketing director, you have some expertise. And especially if you have at least 3 to 5 years of expertise under your belt, you owe yourself to get published. So that's what I want. You can help me by helping me get others published and get their word out there to the world.
I love that you described that because I think a lot of people think this is just for business coaches or this is just for consultants, or I love it because you don't have to be this certain label. You just need to be able to brand yourself and know that you have a legacy or you're an expert in whatever field that it is you're an expert is, and you want to take it a little further. You want to slowly grow that. And I love that you said that. That is awesome.
Imagine being able to put on your resume, Kat, that you're the author of ABC.
Yeah,
You're trying to get somebody to hire you in an industry and you've written a book.
Yeah.
Or you contributed to a book that is focused on that, because we can work with that too. I'm always down for a new compilation project. I'm always ready to put together a compilation project where maybe we take 25 people from a certain industry and each one of you lends your expertise to this collaboration. Let's do it. Like, seriously, you may say to yourself, Bridget, I don't have an entire book in me. Okay, that's no problem. We can do this. Right? We can put you together with 49 of your best friends in the industry that you didn't know and create a book. And now you've got that on your resume.
So if there is someone who is watching and they have a community So they are a part of association, or they have some kind of membership base. This is probably a great idea too, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see the value in that. And I think that is just very powerful. Awesomeness. Okay, so in order to get a hold of you, I know LinkedIn, what else? And I'm going to drop your links and tag you on all of these posts, but go ahead, just for the purpose of someone who's watching and they want to just hear from you, how to get a hold of you.
Perfect. Connectwithb.com. 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 You'll have all of my social media links there, all of my websites, all of my books, how to get in touch with me, everything. And if you want publishing services, if you contact me, submit your manuscript, sign on with us, you get 20% off if you mention this conversation. If you mention this live, you get 20% off all services, all publishing services, if you mention this conversation.
I think it's awesome because the thing I talked about earlier in the year when we first shut down was I was telling people, if you've ever thought about writing a book, this was the time, because you have this time to sit down and collect your thoughts. We're still amongst COVID. Some people are still furloughed. Some people are still, waiting this out. And if that's you and you have this book opportunity, now is the time to take advantage of it, we have people working reduced hours and maybe even doing some telecommuting and so on and so forth. Maximize that time and, you can publish before 2020 is over. Okay, I'm going to ask you a hard question that is the elephant in the room so people are prepared. Bridget, what's the price range? So people get to understand it. You don't have to tell me. I know each situation is different, but give people a feel. That way they can reach out to you.
Yes. Pricing starts at $2,999. Pricing starts at $2,999. But if you mention this conversation, you're getting 20% off of whatever price. But yes, pricing starts at $29.99. As you can imagine, if you want a writing coach, if you need additional supports and so on, then yes, pricing changes. And then depending on the length of your manuscript, because editing is where, if you decide to do self-publishing, editing is where you're going to spend the bulk of your budget, because editors, I'll put this out there, editors can charge anywhere from $40 an hour to $60, $70 an hour. That's just out the gate. And editors can take about an hour per every 1,000 words.
Wow.
You got 20,000. Yes. So just giving you some information as you're shopping around and thinking about, well, I don't know if I want to pay $3,000, $4,000 to get published by an independent publishing company. Yeah. If you got a 10,000 word manuscript, which is not super, super long, I mean, just do the math, and somebody's doing it for $50 an hour.
Yeah. But that's so important for credibility. So I have to put that out there, because if someone thinks they can shortcut it, I would not advise it, because you lose all credibility when you start to have typos and it doesn't make sense. No. Yeah. So yes, I would say there's a huge vantage point to hiring a professional, especially for the credibility. If you have typos, that's not good. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Bridget, for joining me. I appreciate it. I love the energy. And you're still doing speaking, right?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, tomorrow in about 23 hours, I think, maybe 22. I'm trying to do the time zone conversion. I'm doing a presentation to, I don't know, 300-400 peeps.
Oh, good.
A webinar. So yes, I am still speaking. You have a microphone, I have a camera. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Because I know I saw a lot of the speaking topics on your website. People can check them out. And there's some really, really good topics. And as you can tell, Bridget has a dynamic personality. I don't think she'll lose anyone. Okay, well, thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. If there's someone that you know that can benefit from this, please tag them, drop a line. And if you have any questions later, please continue to drop your comments, because I will tag Bridget in any of the ones that she needs to answer, and I'll monitor that. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in and watching, and thank you so much. And until next time, you got this, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Stand Out and Grow. Check out all the notes and links at www.standoutandgrow.com. I am so thankful to you for helping this show continue to grow. I want to keep producing content that you want to hear, so please leave me some feedback. I look forward to bringing you more resources and information to help your business stand out and grow. Please follow us on social media and make sure you follow this podcast so you can learn more about helping your business stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. Until next time, you got
adBidtise
this. Helps businesses stand out and grow with affordable advertising options. We will help you make good business decisions so you can save money and not just throw it against the wall to see if it sticks. Get your free strategic advertising analysis today so you can see the opportunities to stand out and grow your business. Visit www.standoutandgrow.com offers page to learn more.